There she is, boys. So pretty much what we're doing today is a few days back, a buddy of mine, we made a block-off plate for the bypass valve to get some little turbo flutters up in there. It doesn't hurt the turbo at all, and if you think it does, maybe you should probably look it up. But anyways, so we made it, and it didn't flutter as much as I wanted to, like this clip right here. But I was looking on the forums, and the forums say that in order to get the flutter, you need a aftermarket air intake. Now, I don't have an aftermarket air intake, but my buddy Andrew said, well, why don't we just take off the actual housing where like the filter connects to, the little box, the air box, and then why don't we just pull it off, and it would act as a cold air intake because it's processing a lot more air. So I'm gonna try that out. I'm gonna put the blocking plate back on there. Let's see how it sounds. So what I did was, when we went to Harbor Freight, my buddy and I, Andrew, we found this metal. I don't know how thick it is, but it's some type of aluminum. It's pretty fucking sturdy. Like, I can't bend this shit like naturally. And so what we did is we just cut out a big ass piece, and then we cut out, where did I put it? Ah, it's right here. So this will sit right behind the blow off valve, or the bypass valve, and then the gasket will seat on the other side, and just bolt it straight on too. And it's a good match. Like I said, it's pretty sturdy. Like, I'm fucking trying to bend it right now. I can't bend it. All those little marks was just because, as you can tell, we didn't have a wheel big enough, so what we used shears to a point, and then we used the grinder for later on to kind of get like those edges off, that way it's not like too fucking sharp, and kind of made a square. So I had to flatten it back out with a little mallet, but it's pretty fucking straight if you ask me. You have your 3/8. I like to use a long ass extension because I like to fucking overcompensate shit. We used a 12. Now, the bolts on there itself aren't that tight. I tighten it up a little bit more. I don't know the previous owner if he had or she had a other bypass valve or blow-off valve, because those kind of bolts are more or less loose, but I snugged them up real well. The only thing I have removed is the little, there's too much fucking darkness in there. I don't know if it's gonna see it, but I removed the box in here, which is the intake resonator. That way you get a little bit more sucky suck noise. So, oh, okay, I see the issue here. This might be a problem, because the math is before, well, I could remove the air filter itself, and then let's see if that will, create a little bit less resistance. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna remove these right here, these bolts right here. It's just two right here on the side. It just slides out. Once it slides out, it's gonna be bypass valve, your new blocking off plate, or blank off. I don't know what they call them, blank off. I just call it block off. Bypass valve, block off, gasket, and then snug back in there. Again, if you're kind of confused, the bypass valve, the OEM one, is gonna sit on top of this. And then under that would be the gasket, and then, like I said, you stuck it on through. This was a little bitch to get off in the beginning, so we just used needle nose and just kind of twist it a little bit. You could use any type of lubricant, just slide it off. But yeah, so once it's off, you don't have that much space to play with, about that much, and you can pull harder and it could come out a lot more. There is a hose clamp. I don't know if you can see it. My head's kind of in the way, and I have to see the screen a little bit. There's a hose clamp down there in order to remove the whole bypass valve and get something else if you want to put it on there. But you don't have to do that. I think Andrew and I, we just yanked it as hard as we could because I don't think the gasket was ever removed. So that being said, it was kind of like stuck on the back of the bypass valve. And yeah, so I'm going to go and slide that right in. I'm going to take out the air filter. I'm going to let the car warm up a bit, and then see what happens. You can see that it's back there, and then on the other side it's cleared through. Get them as hand tight as possibly can, and then it's a soft metal, so I like to hold my ratchet just like so I'm not applying too much torque. just like that, about right there, as much as I can with my wrist. Ooh. Again, as much as I can with my wrist. Go back. All right. Now I'm gonna remove the air filter, which should be pretty simple. It's just a few clips, and then slide out the air filter. And again, I'm gonna let it warm up, and then see what happens. Slightly pulled it back a little bit, so it has a little gap. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it has like a little gap. I can stick my full finger through there, just so I don't get any debris in there. But it's still able to absorb some more, I guess you could say, induction noise. Ignore my sweat. I'm really prone to sweating. I don't really do hot. I don't do well in a hot environment. But so far, I got this WRX. I don't even have plates for it yet, but I got this WRX. I want to say about a month and a half ago to 2 months ago. It was complete stock when I first got it. So far I've just added coils. I put an exhaust on it. Just small things what I could have done in the span of like, I don't know, 6-7 weeks. And I like it so far. You know, it's my first all-wheel drive. Oh no, it's my first turbo platform, which is good because I've always wanted to learn, and I'm slowly kind of learning every single day. So once it warms up, I'll give it a few revs and then see what happens. You know, even though I don't fucking post most of the time, we finally hit 100 subscribers. That's a pretty big deal, you know, because like wow, you know, I really appreciate it for people wanting to watch the stupid shit that I do. It's warm enough. It's fucking hot as shit outside. So nope. Yeah, see, I'm not getting turbo flutter, you know, and I expected as much because one, I don't have aftermarket air intake, so although I do have the resin removed, I think I still need that cone to compensate for that sound. Well, at least I tried, you know. But I'm gonna leave the block off plate in there. It doesn't damage anything, and I guess whenever I have time, or if I find somebody who could, you know, sell me one, then I'll probably buy one. But yeah, boost still hooks up. No issues, you know, comes back idle. I don't know if you heard any of that because the engine bay is really loud, but unfortunately I need a cold air intake, and I don't think it's gonna make a flutter noise until then. But I'm gonna leave the block off plate in there because this doesn't damage anything. I'm just gonna wait, get a cold air intake, and then I'll update you guys with the noise from then. But it should flutter by the time that new intake's on there. All right, thank you for watching.